Here's Brody Brazil.
Okay, so I don't even actually know where to begin with this video. The subject matter is a couple days old, but maybe this is better, right? I've let it sink in. I've really digested what happened, and now I want to put some words and thoughts behind it. Because obviously, Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars, that's an embarrassing moment for a lot of people, not just at the auditorium who saw it in person, but the global audience who witnessed that and were shocked by it firsthand in real time. Sure, it's embarrassing, but what I want to do here is hopefully make it more of a learning opportunity to expand our thoughts, to expand our perspectives on something so simple, but there's a lot more to it. So first off, let's actually begin with Chris Rock, not even Will Smith here. Was the comedian out of line with his joke about Will's wife? The medical condition which has caused hair loss, which is a very personal thing for a front-facing individual. Strangely enough, Will was laughing halfway through the joke, even after the joke, and then all of a sudden, it's like a switch just instantly flipped. And he went right up on stage, and by the time you get up there, there's really no turning back. But more on Will in just a second. Going back to Chris Rock, was that out of line? I'm not here to say yes or no, but I'm also here to say that comedians have it so interesting right now. They have it so tough because I think jokes of the past, they just don't fly anymore. And so you've got to be really thoughtful behind your jokes and maybe less insulting, maybe less of the direct and obvious stuff. Maybe it's got to be more of a cerebral joke nowadays. But then again, almost anybody can be offended by anything. So there is that. I mean, Chris Rock was up there to do a job, and what he was doing, did it seem out of line of a job that anybody else might do? Not necessarily, but again, going after somebody's personal medical condition, which has obviously caused their appearance to change, I get both sides of that. I would also say for Chris Rock, maybe this is the compliment, for him to literally absorb that like he did. I don't just mean physically the slap, but absorb the situation, to not retaliate, to not make it even a bigger deal than it already was. I actually give him full compliments for letting that just roll right off and roll right away. Yeah, that could have escalated in the moment. I don't know how, I don't know when, where, or after the show or whatever, but for him to go on with the show and not abandon it from a presenter's point of view, that was actually impressive. And also this thought, last thing before I get to Will Smith, what about security? Was there anybody to stop this? Can anybody just walk on stage? I realize he's Will Smith. I realize where he was sitting, and I realize you can't have 20 security guards in the front row. That's like a bad look at a controlled event like the Oscars, where people are invited and they're trusted, and yeah, they're screened and checked on the way in. It's not like a weapon was brandished here. But security? Anybody? I was recently reading too that Will apparently refused to leave the premises. Where was any decision maker? Like, should he stay here the rest of the night? Is he fit for this? Do you want him going on stage now to accept an award? You know that's about to happen. So, how did the Academy handle this? I think that also needs to be discussed. As much as we talk about Chris's comments, his jokes, Will's reaction, how about the Academy who put this on and let it continue? So let's get to Will Smith. I think my number one takeaway, as it's now sunk in for about 72 hours, is that you can't do that. I understand you were frustrated. I understand that something really pushed a button with you in that moment. And this was not a premeditated thing at all. In fact, it's crazy that some people thought this was planned. They thought this was not a hoax, but they thought this was a stunt. Because it was almost so unbelievable that somebody like this, of this ilk, somebody who is in the public eye already. I mean, Will Smith has been praised and criticized and everything in the public for decades. Here's two people, two entertainers that have been at it for many years now, multiple decades. So for Chris to maybe cross a line that he shouldn't have, or go a place that professionally, pushed a button he didn't think would happen, that's surprising. But for Will to react like he did, also surprising. But Will can't react like that. I know. It's frustrating in the moment. Your head steaming, smoke's coming out of your ears. If you're going to do something like that, maybe backstage is a better place and time for it. And maybe I'm not suggesting slap anybody, strike anybody. Maybe just the confrontation itself. Keep my wife's name out your blank, blank mouth. Do that backstage after the show. Maybe he thought he wasn't going to get that opportunity. Maybe there wasn't much thought behind this. But this is more of a backstage type thing. And again, the fact that Will refused to leave, where was he at mentally in this? I mean, we've all been there before, a time where we are just gone. Something tripped us off, and we're gone. Clearly, he was way past that. The other thing I want to say is a lot of people are looking at Will Smith here in a sense of, well, we know him. He's not like this. I mean, here's a guy who in his raps in younger years, he doesn't even curse. And now he's up on stage at the Oscars slapping another man across the face. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what happened. But you don't know Will Smith. The image he portrays, the characters he's always been, the actual person he is when all the cameras are off and dark. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm just saying you don't know Will Smith. You don't know his upbringing. You don't know what he witnessed or went through as a kid. You don't know how his adult life has been. You don't know professionally what he's up against. You don't know what his wife is going through that also stresses him out. A dad, he has so many things you don't know. But you think you know him because you see him all the time. And now he's obviously parlayed success from TV and movies and music to now social platforms. He's big on YouTube now. But kids and adults and grown-ups of these days, you don't know Will Smith. You don't know most people you see on a screen. You think you know them and they're relatable, but you don't actually know them. So for people to be surprised, like, oh, he would never do that. Are you sure? Maybe this has always been in his bag of tricks. And I'm not saying that to be, again, I'm not saying that to demean Will Smith. It's only that you don't know who he is, and you shouldn't be surprised or not by him acting and reacting like this. And that's my last point to make here. The joke, the moment, the last couple years for all of us, Will Smith is only human. And I bet you there's something out there for all of us that if said and presented to us in a certain context, it would push our buttons too, to do something crazy like that. I don't know the night he was having. I don't know anything, but he's only human. And I'm not sitting here making excuses for him. I blatantly said, first thought about him was you can't do this on stage in public. Yeah, I mean, you are trained and tuned for this. You've been facing, again, praise and criticism for everything you do for decades, literally back to what, maybe the 80s, early 90s, when you kind of really hit it big and went mainstream. He's been at this a long time. So you can't do that, but he's only human in all those decades of biting his lip, not responding, not having confrontations, just burying stuff that really got to him. It's going to take its toll. And now, this was a night for everybody to see where he was only human and he couldn't hold back. So, all of those things hopefully just give some deeper idea and perspective to this. Again, I truly thought about not responding, not making a video, not saying anything, but I just hope there are some takeaways for us to think about here. The future of comedy, should it be like that? Is there any reason to roast people anymore? Maybe there is. I mean, it's comedic. It's part of entertainment. It actually bonds people when done the right way. It's just that this one went south real fast and was for everyone to see. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments section below.